But yeah, bro. Thanks again for hopping on with me though. It's really like my vision for the chosen ones. It's starting to change a little bit. I still want to be able to give kids like the publicity and put
Hmm.
video out on them. But I'm also like, dang, all right. I really want to. I don't want this just to be a hobby. I want to be able to eventually like quit my job and do
Right.
this stuff full time, spend time with athletes, make documentaries, and so I'm just like
Right.
how can I be able to like provide an income for me and my family? Um, so I've been, yeah, like as you saw, like getting into like the recruiting stuff. Um,
Right.
and just kind of taking my personal experiences, but also want to talk to like college coaches like you and learn from you,
Right.
um, and be able to eventually like start to consult with families and players, especially with families that haven't really been in this situation before. Um, a lot
Yeah.
of, a lot of players have parents or older brothers or older sisters that have been through it, but I know a lot of families, especially like players that I grew up with, never they had family members never even went to college or never even
Right.
played a sport. So families like that, and I also think that the chosen ones started not for the Kobe Buffkins and the Jamani Joneses of the world, but for like the underdog, for the people that maybe overlooked that college coaches don't know a lot about.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. For
those are the
sure.
kids that I really want to help too.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, eventually I want to be able to take these families on as clients and walk them through the
Right.
process.
Because no one's doing that. That's why it
Yeah.
can be cutting edge and be different. And then like you're connect. Let's say like we've talked about 4 or 5 people
Mhm.
in the conversation, and we're all connected somehow, some way. Corey Person, Dante Hudson, da 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 da. So
Mhm.
like, I end up landing somewhere and you have an interest in players, an interest in my school. Well, our relationship's I'm gonna listen to what you have to say. And then the feedback is like, listen, I know Kevin da 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 with the storm.
Mhm.
Like when he calls you, answer the phone.
Yeah.
Like that's your like you're part of your consulting, like, hey, there's a personal, I reached out to him, you got to make sure you reach back, or communication, or you like this school, or you really like Grand Valley, okay, I went to school there.
Mhm.
Okay, Rick Wesley is this way. He's not like certain coaches you may know about. And being on the ground floor with that, and then being at AU events and being able to tell kids the truth, because sometimes they think, if I go D2, it's going to be not what it like a Division I school.
Right.
Well, I know how Grand Valley eats on the road. It's better
Yeah.
than some small Division I schools.
Yes.
You're not eating Ruth Chris, but
Mhm.
you're not eating Jimmy John's before every game.
Right.
And a
Yeah.
lot of the Division Is, so unfortunately, some of our HBCUs, it's pizza
Mhm.
it's Division I. Well, you'd be surprised. You're getting bought more. You're playing real competition. So
Exactly.
you're going to play Marquette and Duke and those teams, but you're getting beat by 40, but you're also
Right.
getting a check.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, So yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, that's a vision. That's why when I saw the last one you did with the Kid Rams Catholic Country, I was like, man, maybe let me hit him up,
Yeah.
because mine could be totally different. And someone might go, wow.
Yeah.
In the process, I didn't even think about doing that as a
Right.
freshman or a sophomore.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
it isn't so much more. It's a business now. It ain't about so much about playing. And with
No.
the changing and coaching and how many coaches change jobs and this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, like you think about it, Rick Wesley is one of the longest tenured coaches in the state.
Yeah. It's crazy. About 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and Brockman's still kind of new and Bert's still
Mhm.
kind of new. That's
Right.
just the GLIAC,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
In the MIAA, the total changeover.
Mm-hmm.
Jody May, the coach of Alabama, is the longest tenured coach in the league now,
Wow.
because the coach Turner's gone, Joe
Yeah.
Hackman, it changes. So
Yeah.
younger coaches that are coming up like myself, they're going to get more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So high school kids got to recognize, if I go to a school, how long is this coach going to be here?
Right.
Or is he going to jump and go take a job somewhere else? Now I'm at a school where this guy didn't recruit me.
Right. That's a tough position.
That's a tough spot,
Yeah. Yeah. My brother was actually in that very position. He actually came into Grand Valley when Coach Wesley came in. But he was actually
Yeah.
recruited by Jay Smith. I think that was his
Yeah.
name. Jay Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
Jay was my last boss. Jay was my boss at K.
oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, he came in. Um, right as Coach Wesley came in, and Coach Wesley and Coach Paddock actually recruited Jason Jamerson.
Mm-hmm.
So he felt like a bit of a competition, like right at the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
You just naturally
That's their guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel that way. So Pete actually had to learn, or like actually had to like, he felt like, all right, I gotta like win them over, or make them feel that I'm worthy of being here. So he kind of had that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So I feel like
you're being evaluated while you're being evaluated while you're already on the roster.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here, but 2 minutes to go, down 4, timeout.
Yeah.
They ain't calling no play for me.
Right.
They're calling to play for the guy they spent the gas, the food, and the time watching.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Trust me, as an assistant coach, I'm calling the number for the guy I recruited. That's the guy I trust. And a lot of players don't understand. And coaches like, who you want to go with? I'm going with so and so.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You don't want to go with him? No, that's his recruit. I want my guy.
Yeah.
And tell him I gotta, my wife and kid gotta eat. Better make a shot.
Right.
So I can see how I felt that way, but it worked out though, because
it ended up working out. Yeah.
I mean, Bert, for example, Coach Paddock is a great evaluator of talent, and Coach Wesley's got an open mind, and one of the most open-minded people I've ever talked to when it comes to that stuff, and say, wait a minute, we actually got 2 dogs in this cage.
Yeah.
We had 2 really good players. Instead of saying we're just gonna go with this guy, and everyone else is gonna feed off of him, they decided they weren't really good that first year. They were really good that first year, I thought. Or was it the following year?
So Pete actually redshirted that first year.
Okay.
And they were okay. And then the next year they made the tournament. I think won a game or 2.
Okay.
Got some experience under their belt. But then that third year, that was when they made it to the Elite 8.
It took off. Yeah, that's what I thought. Took off. See, it takes 3 years.
Yeah.
We got it's a microwave world we live in now, so it takes some time.
Yeah.
But since then, Grand Valley's been a mainstay. They've never finished dead last, never gone 0-28. There's always rumors about, like, man, this guy's done enough to be there until they let him leave.
Right. Yeah. So I was like my class, we're in a tough position because so when we came in, like Bean, Jason, LJ, they had graduated. So, and the teams that they were playing, the teams that they were bussing like by 40, most of those guys were still there at the other schools. So
they were young.
Yeah. So they were like, all right, now it's our time to bust Grand Valley. So we were kind of like getting that motivation from the previous years of
play. Yeah.
So, man, especially my freshman year, it was just like teams were just going at us like so hard, like
right.
And because there's a lot of seniors, like, all right, this is our chance to beat Grand Valley. So we still held our own. We won the GLIAC North that year, and then we made it to the tournament. But
right, still,
yeah. But
having seniors helps.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between being 18 and being 21, and that's again my point. Like, you go into a situation where you're a freshman, you think you're gonna play.
Right.
Well, really good programs. You look at rosters like, as much as you look at Michigan State, right? Rocket Watts was a very good high school player.
Yeah.
You go back and look. November, December, Rocket Watts was not doing stuff he was doing right before the pandemic hit. Like at one point, he was probably one of the best guards in the Big Ten. But Tom Izzo wasn't released. Like, you have to learn to play within our system before you just come out here and start doing what you want.
Exactly.
And now that Cassius is gone and we have a season, Rocket Watts will be their guy. Yeah. And a lot of solidified programs, even the smaller colleges, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Someone's been on Michigan college basketball for 20 years. You never see a freshman really come in. The only freshman I saw come in that was really, really good right away was Jeremy Veenstra, who ended up going to Calvin.
Okay.
But he had like 4 or 5 Division I offers. And then David Cool, when he was a freshman at Western. Besides that, you're not going to get a freshman coming averaging 25, 26, 27. Not right away. I mean, you might have a couple really good games, but it's going to come in ebb and flows, Right. You got to make the adjustment to college. Mm-hmm. People don't realize, in high school it's pretty. The bell rings, you get up, you move, you go to practice, you go home. In college, you're going to have a workout. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a weight session. You're going to have class. You're going to have a film session. Yep. You might have another workout. You're going to have a study table.
Yep.
People don't realize this, too. In the GLIAC, you got to go across that bridge at least 3 times. And one of them times is going to be a weeknight.
Don't get me started, man.
Which you might get stuck. You got to go up to Tech, win, play Lake State, hopefully win or lose, drive back, have class the next morning. They're looking at you like, Wes, at 8 a.m. At 8
So,
a.m.
Coach Wesley was like, y'all better be in class too, and we gonna check. Or y'all running 3 miles before practice.
Yes. I've heard stories about the teams go up across the bridge, like you purposely were like, man, hopefully we have the snow is as bad down south as it is up north.
Yeah.
I heard last year they had to cancel class up there, but down in Allendale it was like no snow. So the whole trip home, the guys were like, Taylor Johnson was telling me like, oh, we're gonna have class, we're good. They got to about Cadillac, looking out the window like, man, it's already 2:30.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's an adjustment, especially as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
It's a freshman. It's an adjustment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a lot of kids, that tell me, oh yeah, I want to play that. I want to play in college. And I'm like, are you sure? Do you know how it is? Like, let me tell you how it is. Because people see like the Michigan States, the Michigans, the Dukes, all that on TV. Yeah, it looks. Everybody wants to be in the spotlight, but yeah, you're not seeing what's going on in the background. You're not seeing the grind.
Right.
You don't understand what it's like to practice on Christmas Day.
Well, and this is something that I would tell kids. This is what they understand. You fell in love with a sport.
Yeah.
That is during every major holiday for a family.
Yes.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and good luck having a girlfriend because you're going to have practice on Valentine's Day or the day or maybe that. And there was really 5 ago. Yeah, that 5th one, as an 18, 19-year-old kid, for the last 4 years, it's been, oh, babe, we can go do whatever. No. And Christmas break, the rest of the campus goes home. You're in your dorm with your teammates and the girls' team and the swim team to hang out with, and that's it.
That's it.
Sure. Practice and campus is pretty much closed except for the calf.
Yeah.
And if you might go on a trip or something like that. Besides that, you might get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day off, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. People don't understand the season covers so much of the breaks for school, but you don't get a break.
No.
And then your summer is not what you think it's going to be if you're at a scholarship school.
Right.
Because you're going to take X amount of classes during the summertime to balance out how many classes you took during the winter. So that's a great question. And I think a lot of young athletes, especially basketball players, especially boys, like the Journey on the Big Ten Network is a great show. But they glorize the trains and the planes and walking in the rain, all the gear. They don't realize that at 8 a.m. they had a breakfast. They had a 9 a.m. walkthrough. They had another treatments that, they're not just laying on the hotel doing whatever. They're keeping busy.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
There's a full itinerary on the road. You're always doing something, whether it's scout, whether it's doing a walkthrough in the coach's room,
yes,
all that stuff. It's
move the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do it the Big Ten, you get the bigger the school, the bigger the budget. So you can use that conference room downstairs by the lobby that you see on TV. Division 2, Division 3, all right, coach, you got a suite. Slide the beds to the middle outside.
Yep.
One in the hallway. Tell them, and we're going to do this walkthrough in here.
Yep.
This lamp is the basket. This is how we're going to guard this downstream.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of that process. I think of kids, guys like you, guys like me, you got to tell kids those things. If you love to play, if we had a kid like Corey Person, he'd be like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But some guys, they think it's just games and practice and, that weight room and that strength coach.
Yeah.
A lot of players have not realized how much time you're going to spend in the weight room.
Right. Exactly. And it's like you mentioned, you got to love basketball. I think people love hooping.
Yes.
But not basketball, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So going to the gym, hooping with your boys, open gyms, getting buckets. But it's totally different when it comes to buying into a system, playing 94 feet defense for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Practice for 3, sometimes 4 hours, lifting before or after practice, all that, it becomes a full-time job.
And that little thing called school in the middle of all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And parent pressure, like, so you were a 3.4, 3.5 student in high school,
Mhm.
you get to college and now you're bringing home a 2.5, and your parents like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really time manage in high school. I kind of got by, but I was good enough to get good grades. And now I'm kind of dinking around because, you know, I'm not really putting the hours studying like I have to. Now the coach
Yeah.
is calling you in the office like, hey, if you don't get a 3.0, we might pull your scholarship.
Right.
What, you can do that?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden you're hosting every weekend a different two guard on an overnight visit.
Yeah.
That's usually a red flag.
Yeah.
I tell guys all the time, if you're the host as a freshman for all the incoming freshmen and they all play your position, you should be worried.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You should be worried. And what position you play? Oh, I play point. I play point too.
Yeah. Weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Actually,
we had 5 point guards visit this month.
I actually went through that, to be totally honest, my freshman year, or after my freshman year. So I played behind Jared Smith, who played at Michigan and transferred.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he was nice. He was a good guy to play behind and learn from because he was a lefty.
Yeah.
But so I was the only point guard on the roster. So that spring, almost every week we brought another recruit in. So I felt like I was getting tested because we had to guard each other and open gym. I was like, man, I always had to be on, and I always felt like I had to play well. I felt like I had to, so I can't let this recruit come in and like dominate me. You know what I mean?
Right. You're the measuring stick. Like they were trying to see how good he is. Yeah.
Right. It was tough. It was a tough position to be in, but it was a good test, and I think it's helped me as far as like my competitiveness. And then the point guard we ended up bringing in Breland Hogan. He ended up being a really good player. And I think we, as point guards, we fed off each other well because we were different styles. He was an aggressive driver, forced the issue. I was more of an outside shooter. And kind of just different players.
Yeah.
I think it was hard to prepare for us because we were just so different in our styles. So
yeah, that's mainly what they're looking for, and a lot of his fit.
Yeah,
and style of play.
That's another thing.
Like Coach Smith, who was at Grand Valley and Central and UD, big motion guy, and working for him. In recruiting, he taught me. He was like, you can give me all these names, all these kids, but do they understand how to play? Because we don't run a bunch of plays. We teach them how to play.
Right.
This is my first year working for him. I was like, man, let me go back through the list and start back to watching film. Like, wait a minute, this kid doesn't know how to go down off a down screen. This kid doesn't know how to screen. This kid doesn't know how to slip a screen.
Right.
So my whole list the first year changed because I was just trying to get guys who could go get buckets and be really good. And he was just like, no, Kevin, don't bring me. I don't need a bunch of studs. Like right now we need a glue guy. And I'm like, a glue guy? I need a guy who's going to screen, roll the rim, rebound, and I don't want him to be over 6. I want him to be 6'5" or under. So he has his puzzle pieces in his mind. This is the pieces I need. And every puzzle needs a centerpiece. Right. And in his offense, the centerpiece was a guy like that.
Yeah.
I had to go out and find a guy like that. And I went and found West Bloomfield Hills, saw Drew Shekel. He was a tight end on the football team, 4.0 student. And Coach went and saw him play and was like, that's how you get a raise.
Wow.
He had 5 points.
Wow.
In the 4 games I saw him, he scored 5 points.
That's crazy.
And Coach loved him. He came to K, and he did exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Screened, rebound, understand slipping, understand how to ice ball screens. But if you walk into open gym right now, you would not pick him up. You wouldn't pick him up.
Yeah.
Couldn't dunk, wasn't athletic, had a set shot.
Yeah.
But what we were looking for was what he had. And in recruiting, a lot of young players need to learn this.
Right.
Be what the coaches are looking for.
Yeah.
Like I love Austin Braun, who's at Grand Valley now, the little guard. I loved him at K because he was a floor general and he was vocal. We were losing a point guard, Taylor Blotty, when I was at K. Who was that? And we were losing that. He was going to be a senior. Okay. So in my mind, I got to go out and find someone who has his skill set. Not going to average 40, but I wanted a point guard, kind of like you, do a little bit of everything and could shoot it and could guard. So I had to go to Detroit to find a kid like that. So I was trying to put the puzzle together and replace the same kind of kids. And a lot of kids just think, well, I just, this school should just recruit me.
Yeah.
Well, what if you're a 6'8" post who can't shoot outside 15 feet and they're offenses like Michigan's, where the 5-man spends more time on the perimeter than the offense.
Yeah.
On the offense, so
yeah.
you got to be the right fit. You know, you got to be the right fit. Like I don't think there's guys out there at how would Miles Bridges done at Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, not very good. They would have
really good athlete.
They would have to change everything for him.
Like everything. So I think a lot of coaches I've talked to, and especially in the pandemic, like in recruiting, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. I got to have the right puzzle pieces because we're on my boss or me as the boss. I'm trying to put certain pieces together for what I'd want to run offensively and defensively.
Right.
Like a lot of teams now are switching 1 through 4. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're a 4-man, you can't move laterally because you got heavy feet, you know. So I would tell kids this. If you do have a season, go to games and watch. Go to practice and watch. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. It's an unofficial visit. You can pay the $5 and go watch different levels and maybe be honest with yourself. Like, man, I didn't realize that, you know, Calvin's guards all can really, really shoot. I'm not a very good shooter. Yeah. I'm more of a driver. Mm-hmm. And they've got 7 guys that can shoot.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, and they have a JV team. I may not make it here. As much as I want to go to Calvin and play that huge gym, like they may have, I may not be talented enough. I might need to go to a smaller school or a different school, right. You know, or academically, I may not be able to get in. Mm-hmm. So many kids go through the recruiting process and think like, oh, I got a 2.5. You realize you can't get into Calvin with a 2.5 or 2.2. Maybe you can, because I don't know the exact numbers, but so many kids I talk to, they don't know the exact, you know, like a lot of schools now are test optional where they don't take the ACT score unless it's really good.
Yeah.
They're looking at your transcript. Mm-hmm. What class are you taking? Well, if you're just taking the bare minimum and no APs, again, red flag.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're taking 4 gyms and your teacher aide. You're trying to go to high academic school. Mm-hmm. Probably not going to happen. Like, they really dive into, like companies do in your resume, they really dive into who you are as what have you done, that kind of stuff. Not just going, well, he got a 28 and 4.0, so he must be a really good person.
Yeah.
You know, and when you go visit the school, make sure you got be early. Mm-hmm. You know, be dressed the right way. It's an interview. And then the admissions people are talking to the coaches like, hey, Coach Trammell, how bad do you want Kevin White? Because his interview was not that good.
Yeah, yeah. Damn.
Because they're trying to bring in the right kind of demographic for their school, too. Like, I understand he averages 18 and 12, but, like, really in the interview, all he does is play basketball. He's not involved in his community. He's not involved in anything with the church. He doesn't do anything outside of basketball. He's got marginal grades. Mm-hmm. He kind of gave us one word answers in the interview.
Right.
You got to be a little charismatic. Like me, you hold a conversation, be a little charismatic, and, you know, and understand there's more to that. 4 years you spend there is going to propel you for the next 40.
For sure.
So that's what you're going to go back to for references and phone calls and alumni network, you know, and that's going to be your basis for, hey, you know, I'm trying to get a job at this company. Oh, so-and-so from 85 is actually the VP. Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. Well, let me call him for you.
Yeah.
He actually played football. Oh, wow. So now your interview is about how the cafeteria in West Quad food is still terrible, not about how you're going to help our company.
Exactly.
And young people don't understand it. It's all about fit.
Yep. All about fit. All about who you know and connections. So when do coaches typically like look at the academic information?
I think it's right away nowadays. I mean, I think it's sophomore year, you start asking for transcripts. And I think high school students have to have their unofficial transcript from their guidance counselor right away. I mean, I've always told the 2 most important people in the school you need to be cool with is the high school guidance counselor and the janitor. Mm-hmm. The one that can get you in the gym, the one that can get you your grades.
That's facts.
You got to know the guidance counselor, like in your high school, you have to have the first name, Mr. So-and-so, stop and say hello. Because this coach might call you tomorrow for my transcripts. Oh, here's a copy of your unofficial transcript. Let me print it for you.
Right.
Build a relationship with those kind of people whose their job is to help and they want to be servant leaders. If you're a good, upstanding person, that's kind of because the sophomore year, coach is going to start asking. Yeah. With travel programs like the Storm, with Jason Martin putting the U15 Storm team on court 1 before the U17 game, it's like a JV varsity type thing.
Right.
So you're out there killing as a sophomore, like Devin was.
Yep.
At these live events, all of a sudden they're sitting there evaluating you, and all of a sudden that's why the book is there. They open it up. Oh, okay, goes to the school, goes to Jenison, and all of a sudden the call's made to the coach. Hey, let me get his transcript. They're going to ask about character, conduct, and the grades. As an assistant, I can't. If all those are good or yeses, then I can go to my boss.
Yeah.
If any of those are in between, I got to do a little bit more digging.
Right.
I got to do a little bit more digging. I usually try to get the conduct and character. I can kind of tell from watching them play. Want to talk to his coach, travel coach, or someone else who knows him, and then try to get a hold touch with somebody in the high school and get the transcript right away.
Yeah.
Because I want to help facilitate that conversation, especially if they're younger.
Yeah.
Like, hey, thanks for sending me your transcript. I'm seeing like you're not taking any APs. Like, what's up with that? Like, it'd be good to push yourself. What's your favorite subject? I really like math. Well, you should look at taking an AP math class. Yeah. See, I kind of facilitate. Oh, coach, I didn't think about. Yeah, look, you talk to your guidance counselor. Are you cool with your guidance counselor? Oh, yeah, Miss Johnson. Yeah, go talk about next try to take an AP math. Because you're getting A's in the algebra. Like, try to get, it'll help you in the long run taking a math class or business stats, something like that.
Yep.
And with the parents, that helps facilitate the academic side. I usually talk about basketball only when I'm at games and competition. It's more about academic and character building because the parents, especially as you know, your parents would be like, my son wants to graduate.
Right.
It's not just about ball. So hopefully you're not just sitting here sitting on my couch talking about playing time and the gear. That's cool and all, but when he gets his degree, then what? Yeah. If he's struggling in class, what's the plan?
Exactly.
So, and I think you got to start having those conversations early. And I think last thing you have to make sure you are transparent in the recruiting process. Like, you're not the only kid I'm talking to.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to know that. Right. And when I come to watch you play, you don't have to score 40. Usually when I go to watch a kid play, I don't even tell them I'm coming. Mm-hmm. Contact the high school coach. I've always been taught from all my former bosses, I never sit with parents during the game. Mm-hmm. You've worked all day. Mm-hmm. You're excited to watch your child play. And now here I come to sit up next to you to sell my school for the next hour while your son's out there playing. Yeah. It's always been a cardinal rule. I call it the bump and go. After the game, hi, Mom and Dad, I was here. Usually wear your stuff with the logo. Yeah. Talk to the kid real quick, and I'm on my way home. I want to go home, too. Yeah. Because people don't realize on a Friday night, I just drove 2.5 hours one way to watch your son play. I got to drive back 2 hours and get up the next morning and coach the game. Yeah. Yep. So another tip for you high school players, don't be in the locker room for 45, 35 minutes after the game when you know that a college coach is outside waiting for you. The polite thing to do is handshake line, coach, team meet. Before you even shower and change, just come out and say hello, and we'll let you go about your business. Yep. I've literally waited almost an hour for a kid.
Yeah. See, that's not good.
No.
It's not good.
We ended up not taking them.
Right.
The head coach was like, well, how long do you wait after the game? Coach was like 45. He said, next time, don't wait that long. Dang. So like 2 weeks later, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back and watch. He said, no, you're not. Yeah. I moved on from him. And I was like, Coach, he didn't really know. He goes, Kevin, he made you wait an hour. Wow. The gym was basically empty. Like, it's not a kid I want. Wow. Because after an away game, we're going to wait in the locker room for an hour for this kid to get out the shower. We're trying to drive 3 hours back home. Yeah. I'm like, nah, Coach, you don't operate that way. Because he doesn't fit what we do. Yeah. Yeah. I want all the pieces to match. What was it like at Grand Valley after a game? You guys are along on like you're up at Tech, you're trying to get home. There's no messing around. No. Right. So a lot of head coaches, the same way they're evaluating that piece too. Like after you come out of the game, where you sit. Mm-hmm. You're the leading scorer, best player. You get subbed out for a mistake. You go to the end of the bench. Mm-hmm. We're not going to baby you. In college level, they're not going to baby you. The assistant coach is going to come down and get you and bring you back up there. Yep. Stay down there. Yeah. Because all those guys you just walked past, they want you to stay down there so they can get in and get some run. Yeah.
Even though you're a team, you're like, it's still competition. Like, cats are trying to have a spot,
Oh, yeah. I've been on teams where the starting so gets hurt and the backup kind of perks up. Like, goes to this trainer. How long is he out? Right. It's a high ankle sprain. It's at least 2 weeks. They go right to the shooting machine. I better get ready. You got to prepare. I was getting 6 minutes. I'm about to get 15, 20 now. He's out. I mean, it's just how it is, Exactly. Yeah. But sophomore year for sure.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned parents. How important are parents in the recruiting process?
Vital. Mom and dad are vital. Mm-hmm. And respecting their household. I recruit how I was raised. You respect mom and dad and you give them all the information up front. Mm-hmm. And then you try to get the head coach and the parents together as much as possible because they're going to help make the decision. As much as sometimes parents say, whatever he wants to do. Nah, mom and dad have a feel for a family-oriented type of school, and they have a vision for what kind of school they want their child to go to.
Right.
I mean, they had a vision for what kind of high school they were at. No matter their situation, they want their kid to be around positive people who are going to help uplift and take their son to the next level. Yeah. I think it's in basketball, especially recruiting in basketball, you have to make the parents feel comfortable and understand, I'm going to be involved with your son for the next 40 years, not the next 4. Yeah. If he wins me no games, he needs a phone call for a job. I'm at the point in my coaching career now where my players are starting to get married, starting to have kids. Yep. It's cool going to the mailbox and getting, baby shower invites. And that means those 5 a.m. runs and the film sessions weren't all for nothing. They got something out of it. So I think the big part of what the parents is, that's what they want. They want a lasting, long-lasting relationship. And you have to be okay with, if they don't choose your school, you're going to have to go back to the high school.
Right.
So my relationship with those parents that didn't come 2 years later, like, hey, Kevin White came to our school and recruited Johnny. This didn't work out. We really liked Johnny. Johnny liked it, but it didn't work out. But, he's a great guy. You guys should really take a chance and listen to him and what he has to say, because it might be best for your son to go there. I've actually gotten kids from parents of recruits of kids I didn't get.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. Like, we couldn't go, but like, hey, he did such a good job with our boy that you guys should take a look at it.
For sure. Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
for
good.
Sure. Yeah.
Good. Probably for the last 10 minutes or so, I would love to kind of walk through the recruiting cycle, not just like a player that you saw and that you're trying to go after, maybe a player that came on your radar because they reached out to you. Does that have to happen often?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very often.
Do you like when that happens? Typically,
I like the players that are professional and business-like, and they come to you and they try to get you the information, and it's very clear they've done homework on your institution.
Okay.
Like, they've looked at my roster, they've watched some game film somehow, some way. They reach out and communicate. They want to come visit.
Yeah.
They know the academic rigor. Like when I was at K, 3.8, 28 to get in. They know, Coach, I'm a 4.0. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I like Kalamazoo as a city. I want to live there.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped. Oh, okay, hang on. Let's get this kid and see what kind of player he is.
Cool.
That's huge for us.
Yeah.
It was huge for me.
Cool. Yeah. So when they reach out to you, what should it look like? Like the email? Could it be some documents that they send along with the email?
I like, because I'm old school, short and sweet.
Yeah.
Please don't have any music on your highlight tape. 8-minute highlight tape at the most.
Okay.
I'm older now. I don't need to listen to the new Drake song while you're making every shot. Okay. In your highlight video, mix it up. If you take a charge, dive on the floor. Okay. If you hit the first three, every highlight tape, you're not going to put any misses. I understand that.
Yeah.
Put some defensive clips in there. Put an assist in there. Little snippet, like a teammate takes a charge and you run over and punch him in the chest, you pick him up.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then maybe at the end, talk about what you're looking for in an institution, what you're looking at majoring in.
Yeah.
Something short. 10-minute video with the email, perfect. And then with your contact information and your coach's contact information. A lot of kids skip that step.
Right.
They send me their information and they send mom and dad, but not the coach or the travel coach. We want to make sure we talk to everybody. Sometimes the best person to get information from, that lady works the front counter at every high school game, takes the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
That's my resource 99% of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're here to watch West? Oh my gosh, we love his brother Pete. He was great. West does so good. His locker's kind of dirty, but I mean he's usually on time for class.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
usually
so
something in those. It's like those people who aren't in the limelight. They're not an administrator, but they've been working at the school for 30 years. They'll just divulge all the information I'm asking for.
Right.
And I'll go ask people, like the janitor at a high school. So do you know 32? Oh my gosh, yeah. He's never on time for class.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So things like that, but they always put the parent information in the email.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you touched on that because it sounds like you ask people around that see a certain player that don't exactly have a relationship with this player, but they see them on a day-to-day basis.
Oh yeah,
without them
when
knowing that they see them.
when the lights aren't on,
Yeah, that's
you
important.
know, yeah. We had a young man, Jannard Smith, who went to Detroit Frederick Douglass when I was at K.
Mhm.
Dad's a barber. Mom works in academia. Jannard wanted to stay after games and work out because mom didn't have a car, so he had to wait to get picked up.
Yeah,
So the janitor was like, "Hey, you stay home and clean the gym. After this game's over, you can stay after and shoot."
Right.
Jannard was like, "Bet." So I asked the janitor. He was like, "Oh, that young. Number one, after the game, watch. When you're done talking, just hang out in the hallway. You'll see."
Mhm.
He went and got a garbage bag and started picked up. Now, Frederick Douglass is not the best area in Detroit, and he couldn't wait outside for reasons. So he just figured the best thing to do. That's what I got to do to stay in the gym. That's what I got to do.
Yeah.
That young man won Team Gym Rat every year I was at K.
Wow.
I mean, he stayed in the gym, even when I tried to kick him out.
Wow.
But that was his safe haven.
Yeah.
So the information from the janitor was followed up by his actions and his behavior. It was a no-brainer to take him.
Yeah.
You're going to be a young man who's going to go to class and be in the gym all the time? Yeah. I don't got to babysit, and we go on the road. I don't have to worry about you trying to sneak out the hotel to go do X, Y, and Z. Because, real quick, in college basketball, when those things happen, you know who gets yelled at? The guy who recruited him.
Yeah, right. That's your guy.
When you get a player who goes out and does something he's not supposed to, that's your guy.
That's your man.
You didn't do your homework. You told me he wasn't like this.
Right.
This is the third time he's done this.
Yeah.
So we need to have a conversation about some of the players that we're bringing in here.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, my advice too, for players, for recruits, and then further in life when you're trying to get a job, like people try to stick their neck out for you, and don't do something that will lose that person's credibility.
Correct.
Like, if I'm saying, this player, man, this dude he's good, great rebounder, great defender, great kid, always stays out of trouble. And if that's not true, like that makes me look bad, and you'll probably
next time you call me,
you'll never listen to me again. Yeah.
And every coach at so I know every coach in the state of Michigan because I've been here for so long. But like Taylor Johnson at Grand Valley, Taylor and I are both from Kalamazoo. Unfortunately, I went to Hackett, he went to Christian, so we're supposed to be rivals. But there's many times there's kids in Kalamazoo he hears about, and he calls me.
Yeah.
Like, why hop in the car and drive all the way from Amarillo to Kalamazoo or drive over to the west side of the state, south of Grand Rapids to watch a player? Kevin probably knows who he is.
Right.
So why take the drive? So he would say, "Hey, coach, instead of drive, I called Kevin. I heard he's like a 1-2. He's probably to go JUCO. Like, he's not going to be a good fit here at Grand Valley." It's like every year when we had elite camp, I would work elite camp at Grand Valley because Rick's like, "I might as well put you on staff because we never have to go down there because if there's any kind of red flag, you tell us flat out." The last thing I want to do is to have my friend who's at GVSU working his butt off for coach end up with a bad apple. Well, how'd you hear about him? Well, Kevin said he was fine.
Yeah.
Now, in that relationship, that bridge is now burned.
Exactly.
It's the last thing you want. You know? So, and I've been able to help, and be honest and open with coaches about that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So say a player does reach out to you and you like what you see, maybe you respond to them. First of all, with the response, how long does it take typically on average for you to respond?
I'm checking email every day.
Every day? Okay.
Especially during peak recruiting time.
Yeah.
End of the school year, end of the season. Now, most schools we're done with 2020. Let's say we don't have a pandemic. They'd have been done with 2020 right around May 1st because most kids have to have deposits in and all that kind of stuff in by May 1.
Okay.
May 1 is a huge day in college sports for non-guys who aren't getting scholarships. But even scholarship guys, they're probably making their choices around May 1st because the coaches are kind of like, hey, are you committing or you're not? So, once you email me and I email you back and start the process, after May 1, I get it you're in or you're out. It's a lot like dating. Like, we've been talking for 4 or 5 weeks. We're going to be together or no? It's very similar. I mean, I've been coming to see you. You came out and visited us. We hung out. I've met your family. I've met your friends. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
I know you're talking to other schools. That's fine. And be transparent with that, too.
Yeah.
Coach, you're going to ask, what schools are you talking to?
Right.
Because if you're talking to schools that don't fit us. There's certain schools that we're recruiting against that we're like, okay, that makes sense. So at K, a lot of kids were Case Western, University of Chicago, Hope and Calvin, of course. But like, if you're a 4.0 30 ACT, you're looking at junior colleges, I got to kind of ask you why.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of some of the boat I've been in. So yeah, it usually takes a couple of days to get back to an email.
Yeah.
Or if it's an email that's like, I look at it and you're CC'd on it, well, I'm calling you right away.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Like, I'm calling you like, hey, this kid from Catholic or this kid from, you know, Union.
Yeah.
Email me, you're on it. Like, you know him? Oh, yeah, I'm actually helping this family. Okay, right away. What are his grades?
Cool.
What's the backstory?
Yeah.
You know, because you're not, like we just said, you're not putting your name on just everybody.
Right.
And I guarantee you that more and more this grows, people are going to go, oh, yeah, help me out. No.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Did you take the test? Did you pass the test?
Right.
You know, yeah. So that's important, you know.
That's good. So if you say you don't respond, I know, Coach, you guys are busy, you know, all the time. Would you recommend like a player to follow up if they don't hear? If you do recommend that, how do you recommend that they follow up?
Yeah, some of the worst times to email are, remember, college basketball starts October 15th.
Yeah.
So our season's just starting.
Yep.
March is a terrible time to email a college coach.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If we're in the tournament, out of the tournament, I'm out recruiting. If you're a 2021, you should be emailing and calling right now, going into this school year.
Okay.
No matter, no pandemic, whatever, be in constant communication with coaches.
Yeah.
Goes a couple of days. Your first email needs to be to the whole staff. Don't just email Taylor.
Yeah.
Email JR, Coach Wesley, and Taylor.
Yeah.
And all three of them get it. Hey, we just got an email from so-and-so. If there's a connection somehow to the program. If I live in Grand Rapids and I want to go to Grand Valley and I know you, I'm putting you in the email.
Yeah.
It's just off of rip. They're going to go, oh, West must know this guy.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a connection to the school some way, apply. If you're interested in going to the school, apply. Tell them you applied, because that might change everything too.
Right.
You know, I scheduled a visit without the basketball portion. I'd love to come back and do the basketball portion. You know, things like that. But during the season, in the spring, if you're going to play at a track, like I say, you're going on the Speeds to play in a tournament, Thursday night's a great night to send an email when your schedule comes out.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I played for the Storm. We're playing at da-da-da-da. I'd love if you come check me out. Then, like, Tuesday the following week, hey, wasn't sure if you saw my games. I got a couple of clips. Then you start using some dialogue. Actually, I did watch your game at 2. You know, I like the way you played. And I was telling here's a couple of things you can work on.
Right. Feedback.
You know, get a little feedback. You know, some things you need to work on. You know, and then I'm during those travel games and high school games. Well, I'm recruiting. I'm evaluating mom and dad too. Yeah. Let's not forget that part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mom and dad are sitting 50-yard courtside, and they're yelling at referees and yelling at parents and da-da-da-da. So mom and dad, be on your best behavior. Yeah. Because I've been at games recruiting for the school I'm at, and I know another school is recruiting someone on that team. And mom and dad know that other school isn't there, and they're cutting up. Well, so, hey, I was here. Johnny's parents almost got thrown out. What? We were there? Yeah, they knew you were there. I've had that happen. So, like, that's part of the evaluation process, because I can't go to because we don't want, college game is much different. Everybody knows who everyone's parents are. You don't want to have those parents in the stands, yelling down at the coach and that kind of stuff. Like, because too many people want to play now. Right. Think about how popular our game is.
Yeah. It's growing every day.
Kids want to play at the next level so bad. And some parents, like, I appreciate some parents. I love the top of the bleacher parents. Joe Dumars sat in the top of the bleachers his son's whole career.
Yeah.
When Tim Hardaway Sr. finally went to the top of the bleachers, Tim Jr. started blowing up. And that's probably the biggest advice I can give for. If pros are watching their sons play at high school level and aren't acting crazy, you, mom and dad, who maybe didn't play, you just enjoy watching your kid play.
Right.
Because you could hurt the recruiting. You really could.
Yeah. No, that's good. Really good. So say a relationship is built, you guys talk back and forth a little bit. You watch them play a little bit. But obviously you get busy with your season, and things happen. Would you like a player to kind of shoot you updates, maybe about like test scores or how the season went overall? Do you like that?
Yeah, and I usually try to do. I'm a Monday, Wednesday, Sunday
Mhm.
communicator, which is how I've kind of always trained myself to do it.
Yeah.
So Sunday going into the week, it'd be something about school, attack school, maybe some of a quote. I'm a big quote guy,
Mhm.
and then like, hey, I know I'm gonna come see you soon. What game do you think would be good? Well, coach, I'm at Grand Blanc. We play Carmen Ainsworth next Friday. Love
Mhm.
for you to come.
Mhm.
All right. Get that to the all right, coach. He thinks it's gonna be a good game. We're gonna go check him out against Carmen Ainsworth, or like it's Christmas time and there's like that event at Cornerstone where
Mhm.
you can knock out a bunch of games at once,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just constant updates
Mhm.
and then be okay with a couple day late response back. Like it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But one thing you can try to push if you're in the right way is visiting, coming to practice,
Yeah.
trying to get around the program, trying to find ways to get engaged,
Yeah.
Going to games and staying after and just saying hello to the coach real quick,
Mhm.
and doing those kind of things,
Right.
and then wanting to do an overnight. Overnight visits to this day are huge in the recruiting process.
Yeah.
Because you got to see if you got to see if you can be there alone.
For sure.
Because mom may really love school A,
Mhm.
but you're not really feeling school B because every time you go to school A, your parents are with you.
Right.
So you got to be able to be on campus by yourself and understand that this is the part of the process. And,
Yeah.
Everyone has that one assistant. I know you probably did that you kind of lean on more than you do the other guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kind of how it works.
Yeah.
I've had players lose family members and the parents call me to be in the room and the kid hears the bad news.
Yeah.
Like it's heartbreaking, but it's kind of like, man, they trust you that much that they
Mhm.
got to give their son some intimate information. They want you there because, you're going to take care of them.
Exactly.
But you got to want to try to build that relationship. And there's always like mutual connections through high school coaches I know or AAU coaches I know. Like I'll forever, as long as I'm coaching, recruit Storm kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just how I am. Nothing against the Lakers, other programs, but after working with Jason Martin, I just know, he sits down and has these conversations with their kids. I know the Lakers do the same thing, and a lot of teams in West Michigan do. But I've always had an evident respect for, you never hear too much bad press about Storm kids that go off to the next level and play.
Yeah.
Because Jason is active in that process.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of great high school coaches in West Michigan that are also active in that process.
Right.
You got to be able to bridge those two together.
Yeah.
The travel coach and the AAU coach.
Yeah.
The college coach is going to talk to both of them.
Yeah.
So you can't badmouth one or the other or have them going against you. You got to have those two people. Everyone's got to be in your circle.
Exactly.
Because like I said, I'll talk to the lady at the door, the janitor, the lady, the scorekeeper who does every game. Oh, all kind of information, and then tell the truth. Like if you have a bad game, it's okay, because I'm going to check. Like guys will text me their update. Oh yeah, coach, it was a great night. I had 22 and 12. Then I text the coach an hour later. Yeah, he had 7 and 4 and he fouled out.
Yeah.
It's like, just tell the truth. You're going to have bad games. Everybody has bad games.
It happens.
It happens, And don't be surprised if I show up at practice.
Yeah.
I love going to practice.
Yeah.
I like going to practice sometimes more than games.
Yeah, that's to me that's a better indicator than a game, to be honest.
You get a college coach trying to come watch you practice, they're serious.
Right.
They're serious. And inviting them to practice, this might be a good idea because that may fit their schedule more.
Right.
If you're a high school that practices 6 at night or whatever, because some college teams they practice from 12 to 2:30.
Yeah.
And the rest of their evening is free. But hitting a high school game, sometimes it's hard because you got so many to choose from. But if I can hit a practice then a high school game, and then after practice we can spend more time together.
Right.
And I can see you in your element, how you are with your teammates. Coach doing this full court ball handling drill and you're a big. Are you moaning the whole time? Or are you actually trying to get better?
Yeah.
Right. So
that's
we can talk about how practice went.
Yeah.
So definitely like when in that, hey coach, we're practicing Saturday morning. I saw you guys don't have a game. You want to come down? Let me know. I asked my coach. It's cool. Yeah. Come on down and watch us practice. I'd be like, oh yeah,
for sure.
Sounds great. Yeah, that's you stand out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that reminds me of when Coach Paddock actually came to watch me train. He just watched me train for about an hour, and then he gave me feedback on the training. He was nice about it, but he also gave me like some real feedback. He said, I feel like you could have trained harder. Here's some things that you could do. Here's some things that you need to work on. and I took it to heart, and I
Yeah.
added it to my training. So I think that brought us closer, I guess, in our recruiting
Yep.
relationship. Ended up getting the offer like a couple months later. So yeah.
And this is what happened. They went back and had a conversation about. I used to know Coach Wesley had a conversation about you, and can you translate what he told you into his game, into shaping his body, and come here and help us win?
Right.
And here's what happened. All those questions were yes. If they were no, you would have went to Grand Valley.
Right.
And that's what kids don't understand. The assistant coach is going to go back and relay the information. They're going to have a tough conversation. There was you and somebody else.
Yep.
There were more no's than yeses. And that's why you went to and that's what kids didn't understand. It's a competition.
Right.
And we want to bring in the best player, and good players want to be around good people. There's not very many championship teams that have drama. There wasn't very much. As soon as the drama happened at Golden State, now look where Golden State's at now.
Right.
There's not very many championship teams at the college and pro level that have drama. So if you're a drama guy or a me guy, coaches aren't going to want to go at you just won't last long. And remember, once you get there, the next year there's more freshmen coming.
Yeah.
And now there's transfers coming.
Exactly.
I know we keep talking about Grand Valley, even Ferris State right now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Don't get comfortable.
Right.
There's guys coming, and now they want to be there. And a lot of kids are starting to learn, and we haven't touched on this. I can go overseas and still go Division II or Division III or a small Division I. I don't have to go to a Power 5. Wow, I didn't think about that. Like Zach Hankins went to Ferris, a little stint in Xavier. Now is still getting a check to play basketball.
Right. Yeah.
Chris Kamen had 3 offers when he went to Central Michigan: Hope, Calvin, and Central Michigan. He hasn't worked a day in his life.
Yeah.
Not a job. I don't consider playing a pro sport a job. So a lot of kids people like us who get our hands in the ground and tell these kids, you don't have to go sit on the bench and be at this school because you think you have to go pro. You can go here and kill it and still have an opportunity to be a pro.
Exactly.
Because let's be honest, I don't know about you, but until I was about 19, I thought I was going to leave.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me anything different.
Same with me.
I'm 5'10", left-handed point guard.
Yep.
Didn't really shoot a whole lot. But in my mind, I was Jacques Vaughn.
Yeah.
Google him, you kids. You know who Jacques Vaughn is. That was my favorite. That was my favorite player growing up. Yep, played at Kansas. That was my favorite player. Yep.
I was probably 14 when my eyes were open. I played against Delvon Rowe in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And Yancey Gates, who went to Cincinnati.
Yes.
At the time, in 8th grade, Yancey Gates was the same size as he is now. He was 6'8".
Yeah.
Delvon Rowe was probably 6'4". And I'm just we're looking at them playing, and we're just oh man, these kids are 16, But remember Mitch Briggs, his dad came up. He was how old do you think these kids are? We're sophomores, maybe freshmen in high school. He was no, they're in your pool. They're 8th grade. We're just wait, what? So we had to play them, and when we played them, we held our own. They beat us comfortably, but it wasn't like 40. But I was just all right, there are kids out there that are not just better than me, but head and shoulders better than me. So I just had to be realistic with where I was going to go, what level I was going to play. Probably around freshman, sophomore year, I was I'm probably a D2 player. Maybe a mid-major will, look at me.
Right.
But I had my eyes set on D2 playing in the GLIAC. So I think that's important too for players, is to be realistic with themselves and
what level you are.
Yeah, be okay with
and be okay with understanding 5-star basketball camp. I'm a couple years older than you, give or take. 5-star basketball camp was huge.
Yeah.
And I realized my last year at 5-star, trying to guard Bobby Hurley, that I'm not as good as some of these guys. And I didn't know he was Bobby Hurley at the time.
Yeah.
We were doing King of the Court. Station 15 was the station you went to when you weren't playing games.
Wow.
And the coach at the time was just we're going to do King of the Court.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a random number, and Bobby went first. and there was about 20 guys in line, and he went through every guy twice.
Wow.
And we were all there were guys from Brooklyn and LA and Detroit, Chicago. And little Bobby, you've seen Bobby Hurley. You're like, nah, no. Shot fake, jab, step back, ball handling, scoop shot. And it was like, you know who that is? I was like, no. He's like, yeah, he's probably going to Duke. We were in the room like, what? That guy is going to Duke?
Yeah.
Then I went to the Saint the next summer, and there was this Jalen Rose guy and Chris Webber playing in the open run, and I knew I wasn't going to be a pro.
Oh, yeah.
They called me West Side because they were like, where are you from? I was like, Kalamazoo. Like, where's that? West Side said, well, your name is West Side. Yeah. There was a 2-on-1, and Jalen's got it, bringing it up, and I'm trying to jab. And they might have been just getting to Michigan at the time. Ball goes up, and I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been dunked on so many times in my playing career, but like, you just realize. But then my junior college coach at Glen Oaks, who I ended up working for, this is a funny story. Into my sophomore year, brings me to his office. He was like, "So what are you gonna do?" He's like, "There's some small NEIs. You could probably go there and play." I was like, "Nope." He looked at me like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I want your job."
Oh wow.
He just kind of leaned back in his chair and was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "I'm a coach longer than I'm gonna play."
Yeah.
He said, "Okay, here's Joe Hackland's number. Coach at K. He's having camps this summer. You know you're going back to Kalamazoo. Call him. So I told you to call him." I worked his camp for 2 days. He offered me the job as the JV assistant coach the third day. I was 20 years old.
Wow.
I've been doing it ever since. I don't know if you even knew that story. Like, literally, I was finished, just got my associates, went back to work camp at K. I had the ladder drill in the hallway.
Yeah.
We had 250 campers, and I had a ladder drill. He just watched how I did it. Energy, passion. You see me, coach. I haven't changed.
Right.
And he's just like, man, and like the guys in the team were my age. And he was just like, you got to learn how to draw the line. I'm going to teach you how to recruit. This was before cell phones, so I had to get on MapQuest, and I drove Joe Hackland all over the state to watch games. I remember the first time I went to Grand Rapids Crest to watch a game, I was like, wow. For Grand Rapids Catholic Central, I was like, man, this is great.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, real great if we get this kid because he's really, really good. But Joe Hackland and my former bosses taught me how to dive into the recruiting process, and it's more than just can he put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
What do you need to win on your team? What kind of players do you need? And I was also taught this, she'll laugh. What are you willing to put up with? What kind of coach are you? What kind of coaches am I hammer and nail every day? Don't you dare be late, or we bend for certain things depending on what it is. Like I've been taught, I've worked for guys who've been both.
Right.
Too much parent involvement in the recruiting process to almost basically none. Like, I want to talk to mom and dad at the visit, and when we come down to decision time. I've worked for guys who were home visiting 15, 16 kids in a month.
Right.
We're going to sit in their houses. You know how much apple pie and cake and desserts that it like, and you're only taking X amount of kids. Because at Kalamazoo College, for example, we didn't have JV.
Right.
So that was our selling point. You're going to come here and play with the big boys right away. But in my coaching career, recruiting has always taken off for me, and I've done a pretty good job in it because I've tried to network and spend time with people.
Yeah.
And it's hard because people want to I want to go to this level and do this. Well, right now there's guys that you played with in Grand Rapids growing up. There's the rigor of Grand Valley as a basketball player. They didn't want that life.
Yeah.
And you had a little insight because your brother was there, so you could ask him. But even then, the guys, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
Imagine, I'm close to Isaiah Livers, as you know. Jawan, it's not, well, you can make it. You have time, flying private, that stuff is cool, but they don't realize when they get to Wisconsin at 10 o'clock at night, there's an hour study table once you get off the plane.
Yeah.
That's included with dinner.
Exactly.
So the grind is much, much different. And the last most important thing I think is like you said, be honest with yourself.
Yeah. But
go get your degree.
Right.
You and I are both sitting here with that piece of paper, and that's totally different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's definitely life after basketball. Even if you play pro, there's life after that. And you need that paper. Yeah,
because you and I both know guys, they go overseas, they play for 3 or 4 years, and they're done.
Yeah.
And all right, now what are you going to do?
Right.
And with technology now, we're both on computers. I tell my guys that go overseas all the time, I'm like, you can still take classes.
Oh yeah.
while you're overseas. You can
Sure.
still, if you just got a semester left or whatever, like you could still finish.
Yeah.
And some guys taking that advice.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a mom who was like, "That's right, he's doing that."
Yeah.
She was adamant, like, "You have to be done by next summer."
Exactly.
You know, because you're gonna have to get a job at some point.
Exactly. Yeah,
Because we're all gonna fall in that scope.
Right. Yeah, or even get that master's or start on that master's.
Yeah, you know, and some of the Division I guys, that's the best way to get back into coaching, because you can be done playing, go back, be an ops guy, be a video coordinator, be the workout guy, and you're still in the realm. Because when, like you and I both know, a lot of guys, they get out of the game after playing it for so long and don't realize their window to stay in it is short, and then they stay out of it too long, and they try to get back in it. And you know, I've tried to network this whole time through social media and stuff, and so many young coaches, like, how do I get started? Well, you just did it. The first thing was getting a hold of me. What do you want to know?
Yep.
I'm an open book.
Asking questions. You know? Yeah.
Yep, because somebody did it for me, and that's probably the biggest thing. I think that's why I think you're going to blow up, because it's about helping the next group, leaving it better than we found it. Because it's so neat now to see kids back out the park playing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and everybody knows everybody. So that's another tidbit. Like, you guys are in the summertime, you guys are playing all outside. Like, you don't know who that guy is sitting over the side just watching.
Right.
You know? Yep. I saw a video of the kid the other day at the park of the point guard. I sent it to my buddy at a D2 school down south. I was like, I know you like short. He loved short point guard. This kid was like 5'6".
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just watching this video. Don't know who he is, but he's like, oh, he can go. He's been there 10 years. He's probably had 2 point guards over 6 foot.
Wow.
But they press and run like VC used to. So he likes guards that get up and get underneath people. So he goes, you ever see a little guy? Let me know. I'm like, all right. I'm at the Final Four. He loves short point guards.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have been almost too tall for him.
Wow.
Which I'm like, yeah. So nuts. So, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
man. I learned a lot, and I know the people that'll watch this will learn a lot too. So.
Yeah, well, let's stay in touch for sure. And if you ever need anything, like always, you know, basketballer-wise, you know, just let me know. I know,
sure, you
know, the pandemic has put people, I hopefully have turned into a positive. I know in our house we've tried to.
Yeah.
You know, got to make the most out of it. Stay safe and, you know, you just got to make the most out of it. But get outside and hoop. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm driving down the road and I'm seeing kids outside the park rims ain't been used, and, you know, go outside, get 5-on-5 game going.
Exactly. It's good to see. It's good to see, especially with kids. So
yeah, they don't realize that's how it used to. You had to, if you lost, you waiting for an hour.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
that's how your competitiveness started.
Yeah,
I need to win so I can keep playing. Or
picking teams. Like you were a GM. We were GMs before GMs were a big deal. Like, hold up, bro. You're my friend and all, but you shoot too much. You don't get back on D.
Right.
You know,
so I need somebody that can rebound. I need somebody.
Yeah, you understood it.
Yeah.
So, and having the NBA back on is good too. I know I've been watching a little bit. You know, God bless my wife. I love her. She's just like, all right, I know you got the remote. You know,
it's a tough time for all of us with spouses right now.
Exactly. You know, and the games are on like 1:00. This is great.
All day. Yeah.
The NBA marketing team was smart. Like, we know most of these people are at home. Why wait till 7:00? Let's do a triple header.
Exactly.
Yep, for sure.
I applaud them. They're doing an amazing job right now,
from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You know what else they're doing too, real quick? They're putting pressure on a lot of pro sports organizations.
Yes, they are.
Like, it's getting a little hot in the kitchen. Like, all right, when it's your turn, what are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah. I can't wait.
You're not known for doing things.
Right.
You can't do like now for the bubble, and you got to be on your A game, because the NBA really set the standard. I think that's why they wanted to be first.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and somebody said the NBA at the end of the day, they're going to make money, but they put a lot of money up front and banked on it working out. And it has.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't had any positive tests of anybody that's been there.
That's impressive.
In a state that's had testing issues.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been ridiculous.
Yeah. So good for them.
Yeah.
As a basketball guy, that's I wanted it to work.
Right. Same.
You know, all the way through. I wanted it to work. You know. So. Well, cool. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro. Yeah, let's stay in touch for sure. I'll shoot you my number on IG so we can text and stuff.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. All
Talk to
right.
you soon. All right, see ya.